What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AfroLatinos. This is your co-host, Aubyn
and Chandler.
And as you can see, we have a familiar face and some not so familiar faces. On this episode of AfroLatinos, we have decided to bring back our friends, our buddies, our guys, the Jocks of All Trades. Previously, you have seen our dearest friend, Luke, who was able to join us for an episode, which was just incredible. We had a lot of great conversation regarding the sports world. And so this time we got the whole group, we got the whole band back together. So I will let the Jocks of All Trades introduce themselves. Tell us who you are, where you come from, a little bit about yourselves, each one of you. Luke, you want to get started since we already know who you are? Just something real quick.
I should hope I know who I am.
That is true.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luke. I'm a member of the Jocks of All Trades podcast. I'm a big fan of NFL, college football, and NBA. With a little bit of baseball sprinkled in there as well. I'm a huge Ohio State fan. That's how I identify myself as a sports fan. And we're going to come for that championship soon. We're going to come back. Anyway, and so, no, I'm just happy to be here.
All right, jumping right on over on my screen, we got Kyle.
What's up, everybody? I'm Kyle. I hail from Lewisburg, PA. Big Eagles fan. Flyers fan, Phillies fan, Sixers fan, Penn State fan, Duke basketball fan. I like all the sports.
I was gonna say like a Pennsylvania sports fan through and through, and then you jump all the way down to Duke. What happened there?
Penn State basketball sucks. They're so bad.
Yeah,
so no one wants to play basketball in Central PA, so you gotta choose someone else. So I'm a Duke fan. I love basically every sport. Can I play every sport? No. Because I'm not athletic at all, but I'm a pretty good basketball player. Other than that, that's about it. So,
and one of the original creators of this podcast, Jocks of All Trades, my main man Brad Dennis, who I have known since I was in like second grade. Brad, what's up, man?
What's up? I'm Brad. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm a Tide fan. Ravens, Celtics. That's about it. Yeah. I knew you'd agree with me on that. That's about as far as I go. I don't really care about baseball. I guess if it's hockey, I kind of like the Kraken, but they haven't played yet. So
wait a minute. This is how little I know about hockey. They've expanded again.
Yep.
And where's the Kraken? Where's this team?
Seattle.
I think, you know what? I think I did hear about that. But again, I don't care about hockey. So, yeah.
Which, I mean, the only reason I like them is because I'm also a second, like, Supersonics fan, but they died forever ago. So I got to be somebody, and I like the Kraken. So.
And Brad's favorite movie is Clash of Titans. So that's why.
Okay, well, there we go. Well, welcome, Jocks of All Trades, to the AfroLatinos podcast. If you've seen the show before, you know how we do. We're just going to talk. This episode is all about sports once again. How fitting for a sports podcast to be joining us. The whole thing is going to be about sports, and we got an interesting segment coming up in a little while called "Come On, Son," that we have actually borrowed from our friends of the Jocks of All Trades. Their segment is called "Are You For Real?" They were on, or Luke was on the show, and we loved it so much we had to take it. So you're going to see that. You're going to see You Think You Know a little bit differently than what you're used to seeing. But this whole episode is just going to be lots of laughs, lots of fun, and lots of interesting sports debates. Beginning with arguably the most important sports debate in the history of sports. This first topic we're going to be talking about today, we discussed at length, Cheney, myself, and Luke, the previous time that the Jocks of All Trades were guests on our show. I've heard there are some dissenters among us, however, who do not believe that LeBron James is the true GOAT of basketball and think for some strange reason that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And so
they're stuck in the old mode of thought.
They are. I don't know what they're thinking here, but we're going to see. Jocks of All Trades, you have the floor.
Well, first of all, I've actually changed my tune. Wilt Chamberlain is the GOAT of basketball. Let me tell you why. He averaged 30 and 20 in his career. No one has ever done that.
He was 8 feet tall playing against
Of course he
kindergartners.
was. No,
playing against kindergartners. What are you talking about?
The average size of the center when he played was 6'10", compared to now that's 6'11", only a 1 inch difference. Secondly, he's played against the Celtics his entire career. They had 9 Hall of Famers on that Celtics team. So the 4th man off the bench on that Celtics team was a Hall of Famer. That's freaking insane. No one else has done that. 30 and 20. He's 7 foot tall. Arnold Schwarzenegger called him the most athletic person he's ever seen. He benched over 500 pounds.
Until LeBron. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. LeBron's an elite athlete.
He didn't say that. I'm adding that. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
LeBron's an elite athlete. No one's questioning that. But he outdueled Bill Russell every time they've played. Okay, he didn't win as many championships as Michael Jordan or LeBron. He only won 2. But again, he played the Celtics his entire career with 9 Hall of Famers. LeBron or Michael Jordan has never faced a team like that. And again, elite athlete. He scored over 100 points in one game. No one else has ever done that, by the way. He has 4 MVPs. He is an incredible athlete. Maybe he didn't make the best choices in his life, but it's all right. He played till he was like 35. He didn't have many all-stars as Michael Jordan, but at that height, at that weight of over 300 pounds by the end of his career, you can't last as long as Michael Jordan or LeBron James. So that's why he only had 13. But he is the GOAT of basketball. No one else has come close to him, besides maybe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So.
Well, that was a curveball I was not expecting. I don't know about anyone else.
I'm going to say one thing, Brad, before you jump in. Jocks of All Trades, I might have to change my come on, son. I'm almost offended that you brought this man Kyle on this show and decided to let him talk about basketball. If you're gonna, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, that is preposterous. The unmitigated gall to say that Will Chamberlain is the GOAT of basketball.
Get off the weed.
Stay off the weed.
Never smoked weed. Don't blame that on it. I'm fully aware. I'm all good.
I know you don't smoke weed, Kyle, but it is funny.
Hilarious.
It is a meme. You have to roll with it.
That is hilarious.
Oh, roll with it. Got it.
Go ahead. I see what you did there. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brad. I don't have anything else to say. I can't. I just don't. I can't.
Now, Luke and I have had this debate multiple times. We always come to a stalemate. So I'll just bring it to the easiest level. What stats do you want? Because in almost every stat category, Michael leads. So
assists.
Let's bring up. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. LeBron leads in assists. Jordan's points per game in the regular season versus LeBron in their entire career. Jordan has 30.1 points per game versus LeBron's 27.1. So there you go. We could say in points, Michael was a better scorer. However you want to take that.
Nobody's ever. I don't think anyone has ever said.
How many did Michael have?
Yeah.
30.1.
Oh, I think Wilt Chamberlain beat that.
Also, no one questions that Michael Jordan is a better scorer than LeBron.
Okay.
But here's why. Here's why. Because he is one of the most selfish basketball players I've ever seen in the game of basketball, whereas LeBron James is not. We talked about this, I think, on our previous episode. LeBron James is a pass-first player, can score at will if he wants to.
Doesn't he have a better shooting percentage than Michael Jordan?
I would not doubt it. The thing that makes LeBron so great is that he works so hard to get everyone else included in the game, compared to Michael Jordan, who only cared about scoring. I just watched an interesting interview with Gilbert Arenas recently. Not that he's any spectacular. He was decent for the Wizards, but
good.
He knows basketball, right? And he was talking about the difference in LeBron's game and how he played compared to anyone else, and explaining why he was the GOAT. And I've always agreed. So
Right, but when you want to say GOAT, I immediately think who scored the most, who had the most points. So I guess it's just how you want to define GOAT. But for me, it's like who put up the most points. Because if you're going to talk GOAT, because I could talk Kobe too. Kobe had some really good stats too as a scorer, but Kobe isn't quite the GOAT. I would say maybe he's number 3 all time for me. Dude was great. Can't argue that. Great athlete. That's how I feel about LeBron. LeBron is my number 2. But we could go on further. We could talk about playoff stats. The same thing in the playoff. Jordan takes LeBron in the playoffs. Granted, I've said this. Luke doesn't like it. Who did he have to pass to besides Pippen? That was about it. Rodman was not a great scorer.
Rodman couldn't score.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr was a good shooter, but LeBron's had as
Steve
equal
Kerr,
or better
Ho
shooters.
Grant in the first 3 championships.
Boobie Gibson was a decent shooter for the Cavaliers, okay? Steve Kerr is not that great of a player. He was okay, but he's probably a better coach than he was player. Dennis Rodman could not score at all. He was a rebounder. He was a glorified –
that's not what he was there for, though.
No, he was there for rebounding. He was there for good defense. LeBron can carry a team. Michael Jordan can carry a team. I think they both can.
Yeah.
My issue –
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Please show me in the history of Michael Jordan's career when he carried a team to winning by himself.
The best player that he had
by himself.
The best player by himself. Oh, he didn't have one. But let's look at LeBron. Let's look at LeBron. Who did he carry?
No, he carried the crappy Cleveland Cavaliers.
But they did not win.
Because who did they play? They played Tony Parker. They played Tim Duncan. They played Manu Ginobili. They played Greg Popovich. That matters.
Kawhi Leonard was also on that team.
Not in 2007.
Okay, not in 2000, but later.
In 2007, the Cavaliers were hot garbage, and he carried that team single-handedly to the finals. And the only reason that they lost was because they played the Spurs.
But the East is horrible, and the East has been remotely horrible.
The Big Three. He had to go against Boston, who put together the Big Three the year after they won that championship. After they took him to the finals.
Yeah, but not that year though. That's the issue.
Who else was in the East at that time? You still had to worry about the Pistons with Ben Wallace. You still had to worry.
Ain't that good. Ben Wallace ain't that great.
Aubyn's having a nervous breakdown.
What is happening today?
Ben Wallace was all right. Ben Wallace was not
Rip Jackson was still there. He was still balling out in the East. All right, keep going. Go ahead.
My point being, even if you're going to carry a team, if you're the GOAT, shouldn't you win no matter what?
Yeah, so why don't we ask that question to Michael Jordan in 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90?
Michael Jordan didn't have to build a super team to win his first final.
Yeah, because they built it for him.
No, you're right.
No, they didn't get Chris Bosh and then get Dwayne Wade in free agency.
Let me help you with that argument, Kyle. Let me just poke a hole in it real quick. And this is gonna shut your whole thing down. You're right. Michael Jordan did not have to build a super team. Michael Jordan was so bad on his own that they lost so badly that they were able to draft Scottie Pippen with the number 5 overall pick. And they got in that same draft at number 12, they traded and were able to get Horace Grant on that team. So that was the same year they went from losing in the first round of the playoffs
with a losing record. They weren't even 500.
To drafting Scottie Pippen and drafting Horace Grant in the same draft, and immediately their team went to the finals and won 3 in a row. You cannot tell me that is all Michael Jordan.
Here's the argument I have for that. So, all right, so we're going to talk about GOAT. GOAT means greatest of all time, which to me, that implies that there's growth. That implies that there's a major improvement from a nobody to somebody. When did LeBron ever do that? LeBron was always the man.
Because he always was a somebody.
Wait a minute. You're talking about Michael Jordan, who won a championship at UNC, right?
We're talking about the Michael Jordan that couldn't even make his own freaking high school team. We're talking about the Michael Jordan that couldn't play basketball.
So we're going to talk about high schooler who. So he was not good in high school when LeBron was coming to be the greatest out of high school. And then it took Jordan time to play in college and then win a championship at UNC. And then end up with one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in basketball, and ended up playing with some of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. I'm just making sure that we're all on the same page here.
But he wasn't the reason they won that championship. He had other people on that team. This is one of those few times you can say Michael Jordan actually had somebody to pass to score at UNC. You go back and watch the game for real. He actually had some shooters. The point being, he had to grow as a player and actually became one of the greatest players ever, greatest scorers ever. Versus LeBron, who's always been the man. I'm not excited by the dude that's already going to come in and wreck it.
Okay. I know you're not excited about it, but here's something. There is such a thing as expectation and the pressure to meet that expectation. Michael Jordan never had the expectation coming into the draft and coming into the NBA that LeBron did. So it is what's much easier path for him to once the 90s finally rolled around to become dominant. LeBron was expected to be dominant from day one, and he was. It's like you look at his first year with the Cavs, and they had a losing record. Then in his second year and his third year, he brought them out of obscurity. He was making the playoffs in his first year and getting to the second and the third rounds, unlike Michael Jordan, who couldn't get out of the first round without Pippen and Ho Grant.
But that doesn't impress me, man. That doesn't impress me at all. Yes, you were supposed to be good and you got it. Great, fantastic. The dude that couldn't do anything suddenly became the guy. Like, where's the story that gets better there for me? Like, I don't understand, like, the whole GOAT.
The question then becomes does GOAT have to, does GOAT have to be connected to a good story? I'm guessing Brad would say, yes, it does have to be connected to a good story. I say, no. If Superman comes in, everyone knows he's Superman, and somehow he gets to be able to play, of course he's going to be considered the greatest of all time because he was able to execute at such a higher level than everybody.
But not everybody likes Superman. Some people like Batman because he actually had to work for it.
You don't think LeBron works for it?
Also, some people are wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, but if Superman is Superman, why should I be impressed that he's Superman? You already can do all this stuff. You can fly.
But here's the real thing is if Jordan is Superman.
No, we're arguing that LeBron is Superman and Michael Jordan is Batman. That's the argument that Brad is making.
Well, you know the major difference. You want to know the major difference between Superman and Batman? Batman had a sidekick. His name was Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, and LeBron had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Why are we forgetting that?
That was not until.
But that was how he won his first championship.
That was 2010. That was 7 years. That was 7 years into his career.
Yes, they were. Dwayne Wade was coming off a championship with Shaquille O'Neal. He just won one. Yeah, how many years later was that? He was still in his prime. He won with Shaquille O'Neal.
The year LeBron left,
kidding me?
These are gone.
These are not gone.
LeBron left.
He won a championship. Did Scottie Pippen and Ho Grant won a championship before they got with Michael Jordan? No. Dwayne Wade did.
Wait a minute. Okay, just wait. Cheney, do you want to jump in here?
No.
Okay. You said something, Kyle, that I just need you to understand. And I realized it was a Freudian slip, but you still said it, and I got to stop you. No, Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant did not win a championship before Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan was drafted first. Also, it took LeBron 7 years before they did that, right? That was 7 years of LeBron being in the league. This happened to Michael Jordan in his year 4, where he got 2 other All-Stars, 2 other fantastic players. I mean, Scottie Pippen.
Don't hold that accountable to Michael Jordan.
Wait, but you can see the difference. You can see the difference in play. If you look at Scottie Pippen and the Bulls after MJ retired the first time, look at their record. They were able to sustain and play at a high record playing in the playoffs both years. If you look at the Cavs, once LeBron left, they were so bad that they got the first pick 3 times while he was in Miami.
But see, now you're comparing super teams to a non-super team. So which one is it? Like, because you just compared the team without.
What I'm saying is Michael Jordan had a super team that was still a super team after he left.
Yeah, and the Cavs.
He didn't have to go anywhere. He didn't have to do anything else
in the East. Not the best team in the East. but
here's what we're
one
missing.
of the best teams, and
And
are
here's-
immediately in the gutter when he leaves.
Let's
And
go
here's what we're
Dwayne
missing,
Wade
too.
and Chris Bosh versus Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant.
Scottie
What-
Pippen
At
is
that
a
point
first
in
ballot
time?
Hall of Famer. D Wade is a first ballot Hall of
What do you
Famer.
mean at that point in time?
uh,
D Wade and Bosch win every time. This is
Dwayne
simple basketball
Wade.
IQ.
Dwayne Wade
Hadn't won a
Dwayne
championship
Wade.
in 6 years.
He won with Shaquille O'Neal, who was old. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't in his prime, and he won it with him.
Y'all
I'm
must
not
not
saying that
crazy.
Dwayne Wade wasn't good. I'm saying
Y'all
he was
can't
out
like
of his
these Miami
prime by
Vice
the
jerseys
time
no more.
LeBron
Y'all can't
came.
be on D
He
Wade.
averaged 22, 5, and almost 5 assists and 240 games with the Miami Heat with LeBron James. That is not out of his
Well,
prime at all.
that's thank you to LeBron James.
No,
'Cause
you have to admit. I think Luke is wrong in part of it. He is wrong in saying that D Wade was not in his prime, and Chris Bosh was coming off a monster year also when they got put together.
Chris Bosh
right?
is good. I'm not gonna
He was good,
think about that.
but if you're going to put Miami's big three versus the Bulls' big three,
Oh, it's
the Bulls will demolish them every single time, and here's why: Dwayne Wade, although he is a dynamic scorer, he has never been the defender that Scottie Pippen was. Scottie Pippen will clamp
Different
up D
players.
Wade in a heartbeat. First of all, he's got height on him and defensive prowess. Dennis Rodman, if we're calling that the big three, Dennis Rodman is a way better defensive player than Chris Bosh ever was. Chris Bosh's main thing was that he was big and could rebound and he could score. Dennis Rodman might not be the scorer that Bosh was, but he absolutely, the defensive edge, and you know what they say, and it happens in basketball too most times, defense wins championships. And the defense in this case, not now, but if we're going to compare in that time, defense was absolutely what was going to win you championship. If you could, like you LeBron and Jordan would absolutely have their heyday playing against one another. That would be a fantastic one-on-one. But if you're going to put Chris Bosh one-on-one versus Dennis Rodman, Chris Bosh I might give the edge to because of scoring, not because of defense. But you can absolutely never say that Scottie Pippen was
he's
worse
a
than
great
D-Wade.
defender. Yeah, no, he's a great defender, and he probably would lock down Dwayne Wade.
So I think you got to give the edge. You got to get the edge to the Bulls on that big three versus big three.
I will also say that even in the documentary, The Last Dance, people were making the argument that Scottie Pippen was the second best player in the league at that point.
Hold on. Hold on. I know where he's about to go, because his next thing he's about to say is that the 90s was trash because there were no real teams. This is what he says every time.
I was actually going to go the route where I would say, can you imagine the fire LeBron would be under if somehow he got like Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard on his team?
He's got
the media would crucify him.
Yeah, but that's in year 17 of his career. That's different. That's a whole other story.
But he's got AD. That should be the next.
After Steph Curry got KD, he has
Klay
Thompson. He has Draymond Green, who's a solid defender. They have to build. They have to build these teams up to beat LeBron because.
Yeah, they had to put that team together to beat LeBron.
And let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it 100. I'm going to give you one more stat. I don't want to spend too much time on this debate because we could spend the whole episode. But I want to add one more thing. 2006, this was the year that Miami won the championship, 2006, okay? The Boston Celtics were 24-58 that season. In 2007 was the year that they put together the big three. This was Ray Allen. This was Sam Cassell, Kevin Garnett, Eddie House, Kendrick Perkins, Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, Brian Scalabrine in the last couple of years. 2007, they won a championship. And this is was this the year after LeBron? Let's see, who wins the year in 2006, 2007? So LeBron and the Spurs go in 2006, 2007 season, and the Celtics were hot garbage, 24-58. The very next season, they put together the big three in order to beat LeBron.
Or they just found an opportunity.
You have the East being garbage because LeBron was running rampant throughout the league and beating most everyone in the playoffs, running into still some solid teams. I mean, we still got to think about how good the Nets were at that time. You had Jason Kidd at the Nets. You still have to give the Pistons some respect. There were some Eastern Conference teams those seasons that were still playing very well. And if LeBron was still by himself at that time with no second option, I mean, realistically, he was the one and only option in Cleveland, and he had no other option, but he was still playing so well and dominating the Eastern Conference so bad that Celtics put together a big three to stop him. And then him and the Cavaliers, who never gave him any help because they did not lose, and they were going to the Eastern Conference championships every year, they did not lose enough to draft a high draft pick like some of these other teams, like, for example, the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. He was fed up with Cleveland, and he went to win because the level that he was playing at if never would have had in Cleveland. And if you look at Miami and their record the year prior to D Wade and prior to Chris Bosh and LeBron coming there, yes, they just came the year before, or a couple years before, winning a championship, but they were not a winning basketball team. It's not it's not like James Harden, which is, we're going to transition here in a second. It's not like James Harden going to the Nets. Okay. This is not KD going to the Warriors. This is basically three superstars who have never played together going to the New York Knicks right now and trying to change the franchise.
I think it's still possible.
It's not well, sure, it's possible. They took them to 4 straight championships.
Yeah. It worked out.
But you don't know if that works out until you do it.
I mean, I think everybody was pretty on the hype train. Once LeBron said not 1, not 2, not 3, everybody believed they were going to. I don't think it was a thing like they're like, well, maybe at some point they were going to.
But I don't think we can take that away from LeBron. I think that only shows his dominance how afraid that people were. I mean, people weren't. I would argue to say, and maybe this is just because I'm a LeBron fan, but I would argue to say that people were not as afraid of Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen and without Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman, who they got from, by the way, the Pistons, who they were losing to at the beginning of Michael Jordan's career. They ended up picking up Dennis Rodman, who was already established as an all-star by that point. People were not as afraid of that Chicago Bulls team with just Michael Jordan as they were with LeBron by himself.
Yeah, and I think that's an important difference to make, because even before then, I think people were scared of Michael Jordan. They just weren't scared of the Bulls. You have the Larry Bird quote saying that was God on the basketball court, when, I think Michael Jordan went and scored like 60 plus in one game. But that still didn't stop the Celtics from, I think they swept the Bulls in that series. So at least the Bulls, I don't think the Bulls ever won a playoff game against Larry Bird. So, So that was
on Larry Bird's team.
He is 0-4 in his career against Larry Bird.
Yeah.
But he was playing against other super teams. And until he got his own, he wasn't beating any of them. His record against
Pippen with just Pippen, I wouldn't qualify that as a super team.
But it wasn't just Pippen. It wasn't. It was
but
Pippen
Rodman wasn't a superstar.
Rodman wasn't even there until later.
Horace Grant wasn't a superstar either.
He was a 12th overall pick.
Well,
he was a superstar.
Well, so was Michael Carter Williams, but he wasn't.
Andrew Wiggins is
Sometimes people make bad decisions. Okay, we can't always. We can't take that. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think we'll ever come to a solution.
No.
I don't think we'll ever come to. There's some interesting arguments. I still think you're wrong. And Kyle is definitely wrong saying Will Chamberlain.
Well, I just said that to throw a wrench in the conversation. It works. It's Michael Jordan for me. Okay,
it definitely
Michael
works.
Jordan.
But
no, we're not questioning.
I think there are so many variables that you have to think about in a conversation like this, and you're going to have the old heads who are going to say it's always been Jordan, and you're going to have some of the younger cats who are going to say it's always LeBron. You're going to have some people who see it right down the middle. You're going to see some people who say Kobe, or who are stupid and say Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain, right?
It happens. Cheney, what'd you say?
I said facts.
He's so blasé. You're great. That was you had some great points in that conversation, Kenny. All right, let's transition here to talk about one of the biggest moves in basketball right now. It's on everybody's minds. We are talking James Harden being traded from the Houston Rockets to the Brooklyn Nets. Cheney, let's get your thoughts first. So you can say something today.
I don't know what you expect me to say.
You don't have any opinions on the move?
I mean,
nothing at all?
I'm not surprised that something like this happened ever since KD went to the Warriors. He ended up going to the Nets with Kyrie Irving, which that I was like, okay, that kind of was a bit surprising. But the fact that James Harden went there, I was like, KD went to the Warriors at one point. Why, anything can happen now, apparently. So,
Anyone else?
Yeah, here's my thing. When he first got traded, I was like, I don't want him to get traded to the Nets because they do have such a good bench. And I didn't want to get rid of that bench for James Harden because with Durant and Irving in that bench with Karis LeVert, Dinwiddie when he's healthy, Joe Harris, all those guys, it would have been a really good team. My issue is that when James Harden, he is one of the best players in the NBA. And he could be one of the best defensive players. He could be one of the best assist men. And he's obviously one of the best scorers. It's just, he could be. I'm not saying he is. He could be. He's that talented. But his issue in Houston was he just shot. He played iso ball. He just scored. Now, if he played to the level that I know he's capable of with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they are one of the best teams in the NBA. But my issue is that they all play iso ball. They're all not really, pass first kind of stars. It's just, will the ball move enough for those three for them to work? And the first game, they looked pretty good without Irving, really good. But that would be my main issue is that will the ball go enough around to all the guys, including the weak bench that they now have. You just don't hope that Kyrie Irving stays out for too much longer because with those three, they could be dominant. So
I was saying that from the start. I said with James Harden being traded to the Nets with KD and Kyrie, Kyrie left because he wanted to be the all-star. He wanted the ball. We're talking about KD, who's gonna be KD, and then James Harden, who was the main, scorer, handler in the Rockets. So I was thinking, who's gonna want the ball? Yeah. Who's gonna be the scorer and stuff like that? But for now, it's not looking too bad. He had a triple-double
in his first game.
And KD had plenty of points to go. So,
yeah, I think my biggest concern for this, it's looking like a fabulous team. It looks like I'm just wondering how the chemistry is going to work because, you can't have more than one ball on the court at a time. The petty part of me actually finds it kind of funny when it comes to Kyrie because he didn't want to be LeBron's Robin in Cleveland, and now he's basically Alfred to Kevin Durant and James Harden. However, again, you have three very ball-dominant players. I'm just wondering how the chemistry is going to work. And, I think it's very interesting that they played so well without Kyrie. I'm wondering how much better or how much it will change when you add Kyrie into that mix. Because, when you have two ball-dominant players on a court, you can usually get away with that. Three is stretching it, in my opinion.
And James Harden and KD at one point played together, but that was before they established that,
they were both superstars, yeah.
Yeah, before they were the main scorers of the team, main ball handlers and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's still there. So they,
What I question actually is there's no question in the Eastern Conference this is clearly the team to beat. What I wonder about the Nets is such a nice, relaxing conversation we're having now. Isn't this great? My heart is giving me time to cool down. What I wonder is the longevity of the team. Number one, their bench is gone because they had to involve so many different teams in the trade. And, so whatever stability they had on the bench, that's not really there right now. And in addition, you have KD, who has proven to be rather injury prone. He's coming off a year off, but, the injury history is still got to be nagging. And especially with Achilles and leg injuries that have plagued KD over the year, which is the same problem you have with Kyrie. The only player who hasn't gotten injured, who hasn't sustained a major injury other than the nose or whatever for Harden, is Harden. And so not only can the three of them play, because I think that Kyrie has played with the best player in the world before, so he knows how to play second fiddle to someone, although he doesn't like it. He knows that he can do it because he had to do it with LeBron. I think that KD showed playing in the Warriors that he is able to pass the ball. Yes, he was by far the best player on that team. But in that system, everyone was involved. It wasn't just him doing all of the scoring. And so you have Kyrie and KD who have the ability to share with others. Harden has never had to do that. Yes, he had Russell Westbrook, but Russell Westbrook is not necessarily a pass first type of point guard. And I think even Harden was probably playing the point guard at that point. Now, he did have to share the floor with Chris Paul, an older Chris Paul, but we still saw how Harden was able to function with Chris Paul, and we've seen how he is able to function with the likes of Russell Westbrook, and he's proven himself to not be able to do so with either one of them. So I don't know what makes this different. And what really is sad for the state of basketball, this is going to create fantastic this is an ideal fantasy lineup. This is like everything you would want in an impossible fantasy team. But for basketball, and this is the thing that LeBron changed, was people going to win a championship, not just go. I feel like there hasn't been this level of, I'm going to go in free agency to play with some other superstars so that we can win, before LeBron did it. And I'm not faulting LeBron for that, because he did what was best for his career to get that ring that was so elusive that he deserved for being the best player in the world. I mean, plain and simple, he was the best in the NBA besides maybe you could probably put Kobe up there as one of the best in the league, probably the best in the league for those couple of years. But you're looking at LeBron as still being a top 3 player without the rings to back it up. And so until he made that move, he was going to try and win a chip, and they made that clear with the not 1, not 2, not 3 conversation. But now we're seeing this in record pace, and it's not just that they're going to put together teams like LeBron did to a bad team. Players are going to already established dominant teams to put together an even more dominant team. And I feel bad for like the Kings. I feel bad for the Knicks. I feel bad for those other franchises that don't have the cap space, that don't have the ability, they don't have the desire of going to a Miami, of going to, these smaller market teams that are not going to have that opportunity to do so.
I do have one thing to say about that. I don't so much blame LeBron for this change, but I do more so blame Kevin Durant, because there's a stark difference between what LeBron did and what Kevin Durant did going to the Warriors. And the key is to look at the teams they went to. Whenever LeBron has left a team to go to a different team, that team has been at best average.
Yeah.
The Heat were average when LeBron got there, even with Dwayne Wade there. When he went back to Cleveland, when he went back to Cleveland, Cleveland was in shambles. And now more recently, when he went to LA, to the Lakers were in shambles. What Kevin Durant did was he went to the team that was one game away from winning the finals and went 73-9 in the regular season. And so the key part of it is when LeBron left Cleveland to go to Miami, yes, he took one team, the Cavs, out of the running, but he created a new contender in Miami. And see, that's the biggest thing. When a player leaves a team, that team doesn't do as well. You're taking away one contender, but you add to the contender pool by the place you're going to. And LeBron's done that in every time he's moved. Kevin Durant did not do that because the Warriors were already a contender when he got there. So the Thunder, which were one game away from beating the Warriors, they were a contender. That contender's gone when he left, but he didn't create a new contender when he went to the Warriors. And so I think that's a key difference that a lot of people miss.
Well, I don't really want this conversation to go back to LeBron. We just had a fantastic conversation.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I think the Celtics kind of started it, and then LeBron kind of furthered it along. I think the big thing now, it made it better. I think the big thing now is players, when they don't want to be on a team because they can't win, they make it known. So you don't necessarily have to go in free agency to go to a new team. You're just going to be like, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Please trade me. And whether you think that's right or wrong, it's happening in the NBA. It's happening in the NFL. People are doing it now. I think with the whole LeBron thing, I'll say this really quick, is that, yeah, he went to the Lakers. Lakers were crap. But with LeBron, people want to go with him. So I think wherever he would have went, they would have found a way to get other superstars with him. That's just nature of the NBA now. Brad, what do you think?
I'm gonna take it back to Harden because I'm just thinking this, and I wanted to ask you guys what you think. Did Harden finesse the whole NBA? Have we seen the pictures of him where he looked fat versus what he looks like now?
I don't know what happened.
I'm being for real. Like, if you want to get out of a situation, the best thing to do is to look like you are out of shape, not the man. Yeah. Am I wrong?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what he was wearing underneath there, but it wouldn't surprise me.
He was wearing a bulletproof vest because when he was over there talking crap about Houston, they're about to run up on him. So he had to make sure to protect himself a little bit.
My question then is, are we going to see other stars do some questionable things to get out of certain situations?
Nah, I just think that Harden was being a baby and he realized he could. I don't know. I just don't know. I think it was probably as equal to a bad move as Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. So I don't really know. I think that's tough to say, but I don't think anyone else is going to be that low. I think that there's too much respect for the actual game of basketball, although I'm not so sure how much that's true anymore either.
Yeah. It's sad.
It is. Any other thoughts? All right. Switching gears a little bit, we're going to move on to the NFL. This weekend, we saw some spectacular football. I mean, really, really, really great games of football. We had the Bills beating was this the Ravens game this week?
Yeah.
The Bills and Ravens.
Yeah.
The Bills winning that game. The Chiefs and the Browns, with Mahomes getting knocked out. We have really this Bills Chiefs game is going to be huge, and I think if Mahomes does not play, I think that the Bills have got it.
Yep.
And then in the NFC, you had the Packers beating the
Rams.
And
no one saw that.
The Saints and the Bucks yesterday. And so who do you think is the best team in the NFL? Who do you think is going to win these matchups? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Any of the above. Anyone can start.
Yes.
Any one of those teams.
I'll take a stab at it. You know what? I don't think anyone can stop Aaron Rodgers in that passing game right now. I'm going to go ahead and say the Packers are the best team of the four, with the Bills being the second best for me. If the Chiefs are without Mahomes. Mm-hmm. And I definitely think that the Packers could take it all. You just can't stop Aaron Rodgers this year. I don't know what happened.
You pissed him off, man. You drafted Jordan Love first round, it pissed him off, and now he's MVP Aaron Rodgers. Right? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's the coach from the Titans, Matt LaFleur. Maybe he's the difference. You know,
Rodgers loves him.
Stephen A. Smith was hating on the move, but maybe he was right. Maybe he made the right decision.
I agree with you, Brad. Like, without Mahomes, it's not the Chiefs. With Mahomes, I still think it is the Chiefs. If he's healthy, it's still the Chiefs because Andy Reid is an incredible play caller. Their weapons with Tyreek Hill, Cheetah, Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the game. Decent O-line. Their defense isn't great, but they play better than what they have. The run game's still good with Le'Veon Bell. Hopefully Hilaire comes back. And Mahomes, as we know, is one of the best quarterbacks in the game, if not the best. But without Mahomes, it'd be the Packers for me, just because you talked about it. Aaron Rodgers is on a whole other level. Devontae Adams is, I think, the best receiver in the game. But this year, they have a really good defense. They have a shutdown corner. Jair Alexander's a shutdown corner. They have great pass rushers. And to take pressure off Aaron Rodgers, you have Aaron Jones. And he hasn't had that a lot in his career with one of the best running backs in the game, I think, top 5 maybe.
Never.
So they are just a well-oiled machine. Rodgers doesn't miss throws. And I think Mike McCarthy, his former head coach, really just – I think that was a cancer for him. Like, I don't think he liked McCarthy. As we saw with McCarthy this year with the Cowboys, that didn't work out too well because mainly Dak Prescott got hurt.
It's the Cowboys. So
it's the Cowboys too. Yeah. So who cares? Yeah, we don't have to talk about them. But yeah, I think coupled with that, with the running game, with their solid defense, their O-line, they drafted so well there. And then LaFleur, as you said, Aubyn, without Mahomes, they're easily, I think, the best. So
yeah, no, I would agree with everything that was said. I do think it sets up an interesting dynamic because right now I'm thinking the Bills beat the Chiefs due to the absence of Mahomes. But if the Chiefs somehow pull it out, Mahomes would theoretically be back in time for the Super Bowl. And I think he'll come right back and be right where he was. I mean, he'll just need a few days of practice to get himself clicking again. So I think we're setting it up for a very, very good matchup. Again, I think I might have to go. It's hard because if it's Mahomes and the Chiefs against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, it's really a 50-50 toss-up for me. I think I might have to go with the Packers because they are so dominant. They're playing so dominant right now. And even before Patrick Mahomes went out in the Cleveland game, you were seeing them having to struggle against a Cleveland team that there's another debate whether or not the Browns are an up and coming for real. But I would argue that they are. But it will be very interesting to see how that matchup goes out. Right now, as it stands, I think we're going to see a Packers-Bills Super Bowl. And in that case, I'd pick the Packers. But if the Chiefs can somehow get past the Bills without Patrick Mahomes, it's a toss-up for me.
And that would be the rematch of the first ever Super Bowl, the Packers versus the Chiefs. That's kind of what I see it. So
anything can happen.
Yeah, the Bills could win. Who knows? The NFL's weird.
Nah, you missed the terrible pun that he just made, Kyle. Henny.
Oh my God, I missed it.
Oh my
word.
That was
good.
You're not missing. It's yeah. I caught it, Brad. I didn't want you to feel like anyone was like no one was listening. So Cheney? Yes.
I still think the Patriots are the best team in the NFL, but
oh my God.
All right, Cheney.
A true fan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like we've all said, if Mahomes isn't back for this next game, I think the Bills take it. As of right now, I kind of see the Bills and Packers, but I also said that my dad said he thought the Saints were going. And I said, well, it's kind of hard to beat a team 3 times, even though the Saints beat Bucks twice during the season, and they still came out. So I think anything is possible. I got you, Brad. Don't worry about it. I think maybe it's like 25% possible that Brady could still pull it off and beat the Packers, but the way that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are playing, they're fairly strong. So
if that happens, then if you haven't tipped your hat already, you need to, because that's just at that point that'd just be stupid OP.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Which
So-
presents an interesting discussion. If you think that Brady beats the Packers, you have the potential to set up a Brady. That's what I said to Cheney earlier. You've got Brady versus the Bills. It's an AFC East matchup all over again. And unfortunately, much like Tom Brady's last year in the AFC East, I'm thinking that the Bills would have his number again. I fully believe, and this is coming from the heart of hearts, even with Mahomes, I think the Bills beat the Chiefs. And here's the major reason why. Mahomes is going to play, yes, but he's still got to deal with the head injury. Now, we've seen Mahomes come back from an ankle at the beginning of the season. But the head and the ankle are a different story. And he is going to be compromised. He is not going to want to get hit, which is going to make – now, he can do whatever he wants on the football field, absolutely whatever he wants to do on the football field. And so he has a chance, right, to get away from the pocket, to get out and do some amazing things as he's proven himself to be able to do. But I think the Bills' monster defense is going to shut down Mahomes or Henny. And I think that the Bills would beat the Packers. I really do.
If you look
I
at
think that
last game,
matchup is so interesting. I think that – 1 second, Kyle. I think that the Bills – Josh Allen is playing otherworldly right now. He's playing much like a young Aaron Rodgers, if you will, with what he's able to do with his legs, with his arm. Stephon Diggs playing fantastic football. You have Tre'Davious White. You talked about a shutdown corner. You can't get much better than Tre'Davious White, except if you're looking at dude from the Packers. I think Ramsey. The one thing, and Jalen Ramsey, you can't I think you can't discount them. I think the one edge that you put over the Bills for the Packers is the Aaron Jones. Is that the Bills don't have an Aaron Jones. They don't have a one of the best running backs in the league. A decent running game, sure, but not one of the best running backs in the league. And so I think if you're comparing games, it's really close. But I like the Bills. I like to give them the Bills the edge over the Packers. And that's what I think the Super Bowl will look like. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the Bills have a better chance than the Browns did, just because the Browns lost Odell Beckham. Landry isn't what he was. Stephon Diggs, we talked about this on our Jocks of All Trade podcast, is having one of the best seasons like he ever had, and one of the best seasons in the NFL in terms of a receiver. And then the Browns defense is not good as the Bills. The Browns have a good pass rush, but Myles Garrett was hurt in that game. And I think if Mahomes stayed in, it would have been, the difference would have been much larger. So I think the Bills just have a much better chance just because they're more complete than the Browns. And Josh Allen is just way different than Baker Mayfield, even though I like Baker Mayfield. So
agreed.
I honestly think that once the Patriots get Trevor Lawrence and Devontae Smith, I think we can. No.
Imagine? I was getting ready to mute you, and then I figured you would just leave afterwards. So I think this is a good time to move on, because you did happen to mention, Cheney, something that we wanted to talk about, and that is, who is the most interesting draft prospect in the NFL, and where do you think they'll land?
Go ahead, Brad.
It's going to be biased. I know you're all about the grown. It's fine. But let me explain why. I'm going to say Devontae Smith. It has nothing to do with how he's played this year. It has
number 6 to the Eagles. Yes, I agree. Go ahead.
No.
I think it's really interesting. I think he probably will either end up with the Eagles or with the Dolphins. But he was really tiny. He was undersized as a receiver. He wasn't even supposed to be the guy for Alabama. There were a bunch of guys ahead of him. He wasn't supposed to do anything. Then he made the catch in 2018 against Georgia. I'm going to call it the catch because that's all I can call it. Then he spent this entire year after Waddle has been out, stepping up and being the man. I just think in terms of being really interesting, if you're going to take this dude that wasn't supposed to be it, like consistently through his career, and he keeps busting down all these barriers, that's really cool to me, and I think he'll have a good career.
Yeah. I will follow it up with a biased choice of my own. I was one of the most surprised people in the world when Urban Meyer decided to come out of coaching retirement and go coach for the Jags. And so I'm going to say Justin Fields is the player to watch right now because cannot say with entirety that Urban Meyer wouldn't pick Justin Fields for the draft instead of Trevor Lawrence.
If he does, it proves that he should have stayed retired. But keep going.
But no, right now it just shows, because right now if the Jags don't hire Urban Meyer, I'm thinking, okay, Trevor Lawrence will be the number one pick. Justin Fields will go either to the Jets or some team down the line, staying relatively near the top, but probably would not be the number one pick. You get an Ohio State man as the head coach for the Jags, all of a sudden, it just sows enough doubt for me to make it interesting. So the question was, who was the most interesting player to watch in the draft? I'm going to say Justin Fields.
I'm going to say Zach Wilson. I think Justin Fields and Devonta Smith are interesting, but if we're talking about the most interesting guy in the NFL right now, would be quarterbacks. We look at Mahomes, we look at Josh Allen, we look at Aaron Rodgers. Who's the most similar to those guys? I think would be Zach Wilson. They've talked about it while he's played at BYU. His arm angles, his deep ball accuracy, how big of an arm he has. He took an unknown BYU team, made him pretty good, had 33 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And what I think will make him interesting on draft day is that because we kind of already know the first 2 picks, it'll probably be Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. The next teams that could look at a quarterback are the Atlanta Falcons at 4, could be the Dolphins at 3. We've heard about maybe they don't love Tua Tagovailoa. And then all the way down at 7, the Detroit Lions, Panthers at 8, and then Channing, your Patriots. They could trade up for Zach Wilson. He'd look good in a Patriots uniform. I think he'll be the most interesting player on draft day, and coupled with his insane arm angles, the way he throws the ball on his pro days, I think he'll be talked about a lot. What do I think he'll go to number 2 and outduel Justin Fields at number 2? I think it's a strong possibility, but I think Fields will land at 2.
Guys, let's be real. Mac Jones is going number 2 overall. That's just
maybe.
Mac Jones.
Oh wait, you're serious?
Projecting Mac Jones to be going to the Patriots. So there you go, Channing.
Get out now, Channing. Get out now.
I don't care about anybody who drafted anything. I just want the Patriots to be good again. Get a receiver, get a quarterback. I just get rid of Cam Newton, for dear God.
Yeah.
So that's your take on that one, Cheney?
Yes.
Okay. I think that a lot of people have said probably most of what everyone is thinking. I think Trevor Lawrence could be interesting in Jacksonville, although it's an unfortunate situation if Trevor Lawrence ends up in Jacksonville, because it's going to be another Mariota with the Titans when they got there. I mean, the dominant team at the time when Marcus Mariota was there, when he got drafted, was the Texans, and they were destroying everyone. I mean, they were just playing good football, right? And you had the Colts, who were still probably pretty relevant there with Andrew Luck. You know, there was no chance of winning in that division, which is going to be exactly what happens if you put Trevor Lawrence, anyone with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You've got the Titans, who are playing ridiculous. Now, they lost, but, you know, they're still a fantastic team, a 10, 11 win team. You're not turning around. You're wasting that talent for the first 3-4 years of his career until, you know, some of these players get worse. And so that's just unfortunate for him to end up there, which is the same thing that's going to happen with Justin Fields. It's the same thing that's going to happen with most of these quarterbacks. I think that for me, and I'm going to use my bias also, because I don't want to repeat anyone's answers, because Brad, you said mine, Devonta Smith. I'm just hoping and praying that he ends up going to number 6. But what I'm really afraid of is that he will fall, that he will go up and go to number 3, and that rather than trade Tua, they're just going to give him Devontae. They're just going to get. Sorry, my mom is screaming upstairs. I don't know what's happening. That the Dolphins are going to draft Devontae Smith and put him with Tua, and the Dolphins are going to go from a 10-win team to winning that division, or at least making it competitive for the Bills. For me, I just want to see the Eagles draft a wide receiver.
Please, God.
So I don't care if that's Devontae Smith. If it's not Devontae Smith,
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
it's Jamar Chase, my boy from LSU. We saw what he could do the last 2 seasons. We saw what he did with Joe Burrow, and we're going to see what he can do with whoever our quarterback is of the future. I frankly, I don't care what happens with the quarterback position.
Neither do I.
I just want to, like Cheney said, I just want the Eagles to get back to winning. I think I will take Devontae Smith is probably my number 1 choice. But if he goes before the number 6 pick, if the Eagles, I might give up on the season. I will call for Howie Roseman's head on a silver platter.
I'll be right behind you.
If the Eagles draft any other position besides wide receiver, I am going to be so pissed off. The fact that we went, and the last 2 drafts have proved to me that Howie Roseman is an idiot.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make this a smooth transition into our next segment.
Well, just make sure that the Rager, Justin Jefferson business doesn't happen again, because you're going to be real.
Listen,
I was so pissed on draft day. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna transition us into the next segment. This has I'm changing the top. I'm over it. Okay. The next segment is called "Come On, Son," which is borrowed from our friends, the Jocks of All Trades, and my Howie Roseman. Come on, son. What are you doing? I have lost all faith in his ability as a GM to eye talent and to draft talent. The past 2 years, the weakest position on the Eagles offense has been wide receiver. And so what did we do last year? Last year, we draft Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
The Vikings were laughing at us. Literally, the video played of the Vikings organization laughing at the Eagles' choice. Now, I liked Reagor in the couple of games that he was able to play. He is elusive speed, breakaway speed. That's fantastic. But Justin Jefferson broke the rookie record this season for receiving yards, and I cannot forget that. Also, 2 years ago, the Eagles had an opportunity to draft DK Metcalf, and they drafted JJ Arcega-Whiteside, a wide receiver from Spain, whose only touchdown at one point in this season was from a fumble recovery. Miles Sanders runs the ball for 70-plus yards, gets the ball knocked out from his hands, rolls into the end zone. Arcega-Whiteside jumps on the ball, touchdown. That was his offensive touchdown of the season. This is who we're drafting? He had 2 wins in the last several years. Carson Wentz for the first 5 years of his career, at least if we don't count this year. And Miles Sanders, fantastic draft pick. Howie Roseman can draft a quarterback sometimes. He can draft a running back. He cannot draft any other position. And that is why if we draft anyone other than a wide receiver, one of these 2 top receivers, I want him fired. Howie Roseman, come on, son.
You're preaching to the choir, man. I can't stand him at all. At all. Not to mention all the other draft picks he's whiffed on. Like you said, Carson Wentz is probably his best pick. That's his only Pro Bowl player that he's drafted in the last 5.
Miles Sanders made the Pro Bowl this year.
Oh, he did. Okay. Well, other than Miles Sanders, that's horrible. Like, that's really bad.
Did Derek Barnett? He didn't make the Pro Bowl?
No. And he was the 14th pick overall. He's been hurt his career. I like him, but he's been hurt. So if you're just getting Carson Wentz and Miles Sanders as your only Pro Bowl players that you drafted, that's horrible. Like, I think a monkey, or I think one of us, if we drafted for the Eagles in the last 5 years, we could have gotten more Pro Bowl players. I fully believe that. So, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. He was a lawyer. I think he's a very good lawyer. He probably still would be. I think he's convincing the owner to, for him to stick around. think that's the only reason he's sticking around.
He must have some dirt on Jeffrey Lurie. I
he
don't know
might.
what's going
He
on.
might.
It's a scandal somewhere.
I'm right there with you.
You
Yeah.
heard it here first, folks.
And next take on the on our "Come On Son" segment. Anyone?
I'll get us started.
You know what? Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I want to say, come on, son, to just the NFL in general. Watching the Chiefs-Browns game, what happened at the end of that half, where you have a fumble into the end zone caused by a Chief launching into a Browns player with the crown of the helmet, would have been complete and total clear-cut case of illegal use of the helmet, personal foul. That didn't get called in review. They reviewed the play and didn't call it that because, that's not reviewable. I'm sorry, but every aspect of a play, when a play is reviewed, should be able to be changed. I don't care what it is. You should be able to look at a play, and a coach should be able to at least challenge, or a booth can come back and say, this penalty happened. And it's clear-cut case. Now, holding is so subjective that maybe you don't do a holding play. But in a case like that, where it is clear helmet to helmet, illegal contact with the helmet, and it's in that scenario where the Browns would either get the ball at the goal, would get a first and goal at the 1, 2, or 3. Instead, the Chiefs get the ball and they're able to score 3 points before the end of the half, a 10-point swing. How much did the Chiefs win that game by? 5 points. Browns walk away maybe with that game if that call happens correctly the way it should have. The NFL needs to cut it with this, that's not reviewable bull crap. Come on, son. Get the rules changed. Get your act together.
That's almost like what happened with the Saints and whoever the heck it was. Like
The defensive
Rams.
interference.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's happened way too many times.
Mm-hmm. Who's up? Jamie?
I mean, I guess I'll go. You know what really scuffs my Timbs? What really grinds my gears? The fact that in the beginning of the season, or around off season, Cam Newton said that he was gonna, show why the people who who didn't pick him up were wrong. And then he goes and ends the season with 8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns in the season. Well, passing at least, because he had 12 rushing touchdowns, which is fantastic. But he was leading in.
Yeah, as a running back. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Come on, son. You got to do better than that. You can't talk all that talk and then come in, go 7 for 9, do absolutely nothing as a quarterback, run the ball a couple of times, and cool.
Maybe it was the vid. He got the Rona. Maybe Rona changed his life, man. Maybe he was coming back with the all-star caliber play, but he got the Rona early. He got it early too. That was week 3 or 4. That changed the course of the season. It was the Rona.
If it was the Rona, he wouldn't have been rushing for those touchdowns because of
Hey, it affects everyone differently. That's all I'm trying to say.
But all right.
That's true.
And for Cam Newton, it just made him a bad quarterback. So
that's his excuse.
Kyle, Brad?
Come on, son. Houston Texans organization.
Ugh.
You had Bill O'Brien, who was an up-and-coming head coach. You had Deshaun Watson, who's coming off, I believe, a national championship with Clemson. And he's probably one of the best up-and-coming quarterbacks in the league, if not already. He's right behind Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, maybe tied with Josh Allen. Then what you do with young quarterbacks, I've said this on our podcast, is you surround them with talent and offensive line and a good offensive coordinator. They had Bill O'Brien, but then they elevated him to GM. That screwed up everything. They did not surround him with offensive linemen. They traded away entire drafts. They got rid of his best receiver, one of the best receivers in the game.
No. He got rid of the best receiver in the game.
Okay, yeah. You can make that argument.
At the time,
for sure. You just sent him off for like David Johnson in a second-round pick, and then they used that second-round pick for Brandon Cooks, who's always hurt. What kind of horrible moves? Then after that, you get rid of Bill O'Brien, and then you're like, okay, well, we want Deshaun Watson as our starting quarterback. He is our franchise, as he should be your franchise. Any team would be lucky to have him. Then you get a GM that he doesn't like. You get rid of more people. J.J. Watt hates the franchise. He's one of your best franchise players of all time. Texans, come on, son. What are you doing? Deshaun Watson is literally your best piece that you've ever had on the Houston Texans, and you're treating him like Dale Chowder. Come on, Texans. What are you doing? I'm tired of them. Just get rid of Deshaun. Send him to the Jets or to the Lions or to the Dolphins.
I mean, we'll take him.
Or the Patriots, sure. Or the Eagles.
Thank you.
Yeah,
just saying.
Sure, I'd take him in a heartbeat.
We could swap Carson. That's okay.
I do it. Yeah.
Right 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Tick for tat. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just go ahead, make it even.
Yep, I'd do it 100%. I don't know what they're doing, but they're gonna set their franchise back 5 to 6 years.
Thank you.
Also, they wasted the career of one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen play, and Andre Johnson. So
they tried to call me up, and I couldn't. It was
that
bad.
ankle, that ACL, man. You know, I hear you.
Saying.
You know, I'm really on the fence here, but not really. Breeze is talking about coming back again for another year. Come on, son. Just know when your career is over. You have one of the greatest careers that have ever been played in football. You weren't supposed to be anything, and you turned yourself into one of the greatest superstars that's ever been seen. The Saints see you as like literally a saint. Sorry, play on words. You are just the best thing that could have ever happened. But you're getting old. Your passes aren't great anymore. I'm sorry, Saints fans, but I'm going to say it. If he comes back, do you really want another year of getting this close just to let it go because Breeze can't outduel somebody else? Breeze should retire. Come on, man. Just give it up already. You're old. You've had a great career. Sayonara. You're not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is like some kind of like demigod. I don't know.
Like LeBron still go.
Younger guys. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but
Brady's still going.
You know what I'm saying?
Brady's older, isn't he?
Yeah.
42, 43.
You know, one of Brady's last couple of years, he was looking a little rough, like a shell of himself, and he made a comeback. So, you know,
Breeze is,
and the Saints team is way more talented than any team that Brady really ever played for outside of Randy Moss.
Don't do that. We're still a solid team.
Yeah.
We're solid. Yes.
Get a wide receiver.
It's true, but then how come they keep losing?
Because they're just better teams in the NFC. That's just, and bad luck against the kryptonite is called Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings. So
they've lost 3 straight home games in the playoffs. Breeze, you should be done.
He could, if he retires.
What's the alternative? I mean, let's be real.
Yeah,
Taysom Hill,
Jameis Winston. Come on, man, he's elite.
I mean, he did get ice. He should be good.
He's a player.
Saints
plays football.
Retiring, he should be okay. He's retiring top 3 all time. Top 3 quarterback all time. Like, you're fine. You don't need to prove anything. You're good.
Yeah.
I think the Saints will honestly draft Trey Lance. That is just my solid thought. Get him in there, let him learn, suffer under a year of Taysom Hill or Winston, and then give it over to Trey Lance.
They might have to trade up for him, but that would be a good pick, I think. He'd look good in the Saints uniform.
Yeah, he would.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for allowing us to adopt your Are You For Real segment. If you want to see some more takes like that, go on to their podcast, which you can find on Facebook, Jocks of All Trades. You find it on YouTube, Jocks of All Trades. And if you like ours, come on, son, just keep watching what you're watching. So it is now time to transition to our favorite time of day. It is now time to play You Think You Know. You good, Chinny? You was gonna say something?
My phone was charging, so I'm gonna grab it really quick, but you can go ahead and start it.
No problem. No problem. I'll intro. So, gentlemen, Luke, you're familiar with the game because you've played the game, but the rest of the jocks have not played this game before. And let me introduce it to you and to the audience. Gentlemen, what you have in front of you, audience, what you have in front of you is a game of trivia called You Think You Know. Because the Jocks of All Trades are a sports podcast, we're going to see how much they know about sports. We're going to change the rules a little bit just to make it an interesting competition between the three Jocks of All Trades. Today, Cheney and myself will be asking 15 trivia questions about sports. Some will be multiple choice, some will be an open-ended response. We will tell you before we ask the question if it's multiple choice or not. Okay? For each of these questions, we will ask the entire group the same question, and you will have 30 seconds to think of an answer. At the end of that 30 seconds, I will come in and check back with you to get your answers, and then we'll see who is right. The ultimate goal is to see which one of the Jocks of All Trades knows the most about sports. Are there any questions? Okay, I will get started since Cheney is not here. Question number 1. This is not a multiple choice question. Okay, you will have the entire 30 seconds to think of your response. In 1990, 2 major league greats made baseball history by becoming the first father-son duo to hit back-to-back homers in an MLB game. Who were they? 30 seconds on the clock begins now. In 1990, 2 major league greats made baseball history by becoming the first father-son duo to hit back-to-back homers in an MLB game.
Should we shout it out when we know it, or wait?
No, just wait till the end of the 30 seconds and then respond at the end of that 30 seconds. 10 seconds left to think. In 1990, 2 MLB greats made history by becoming the first father-son duo to hit back-to-back homers in an MLB game. Time is up. I will go around the circle, and I don't know what the best way to do this is, because if you give an answer, then somebody else could take your answer.
Do we have paper? Anybody? Do you guys have paper with you?
Or your phone will work too if you just want to type it out on your phone and show your screen. That'll work too. I think that's probably the best way.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple seconds to answer the question here. I tried to figure out the best way to do this, and it was a lot to think about.
Okay.
I got it.
Yep.
All right. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Hold on. I have no clue, so these two can go ahead.
3, 2, 1. You have to turn your brightnesses down.
Your brightness
turn
down,
your brightness on your screen down. That's the only way that's gonna work. So Luke is out for the first question. Go ahead, Brad. Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. is the correct answer. Congratulations, Brad. Congratulations, Luke. Or I'm sorry, Kyle. Luke sucks to suck. Yeah, that is a no. So the score. So again, the question or the time starts your 30 seconds once we finish reading all of the options. If it's multiple choice, it begins automatically once you finish the question. If it is an open-ended response, okay. So the score is Brad 1, Kyle 1, Luke nothing. Question number 2. Go ahead, Jane. Oh, well,
I got it.
Grubbing out.
Should I say that it's a multiple choice?
You should.
It's a multiple choice. Michael Jordan played his college ball at North Carolina, but playing for the Tar Heels wasn't his first choice. Who did MJ originally want to play for? North Carolina State, Duke, UCLA, or Michigan?
If everyone is done before the 30 seconds, we don't need to take the whole time, but the time is yours.
Can you say the choices again?
Yes.
Thank you.
NC State, Duke, UCLA, or Michigan?
10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time. Answers, please. Luke says Duke. Kyle says, is that NC State, Kyle?
Yeah.
And Brad says UCLA. Cheney, what is the correct answer?
The correct answer is UCLA.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And they didn't even look at him. What a tragic experience.
Wow.
Question number 3. This is a multiple choice question. Presidential ceremonial. There are words supposed to come out there. In English, actually. Presidential ceremonial pitches have been a tradition in the MLB since opening day of the 1910 season. Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch? Was it William Taft, James Polk, Jimmy Carter, or Richard Nixon?
Could I have the options one more time? I'm sorry.
Of course. William Taft, James Polk, Jimmy Carter, and Richard Nixon.
Barack Obama.
No idea.
10 seconds.
Yeah, 25% chance. Take a guess.
Oh,
That's
well.
right. You just got to take a shot in the dark. 3, 2, and 1. Answers, please. Polk, Carter, and Taft. Luke, you're on the board, my friend. The correct answer was William Howard Taft.
Carter was in like the 60s.
Was not 1910. Yes, he's
Yeah.
ancient, but not that ancient.
So you got to know your presidential history.
I misread the question.
This guy. Actually, funny story. Who did you say, Kyle?
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter was the only one to not throw a ceremonial first pitch.
Oh, he looks like a guy that could throw baseball.
He is the only president to have never done it, apparently.
Because he's a pacifist.
Hey, wait! I thought this was sports, not presidential history. Come on,
It's baseball.
We don't need to be talking about presidents at this point in time, boys.
sports.
It's on you.
That's on me. Cool.
Yeah.
There's only one athlete to hit
It's
an
a multiple choice question.
Thank you. There's only one athlete to hit an MLB home run and score an NFL touchdown in the same week. He's the same athlete who was the only person ever to play in both the World Series and the Super Bowl. Who was that? Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson, or Jim Thorpe?
Kyle, without even thinking.
If I get this wrong, I'll look like a complete idiot. I think I know.
Hey, you know
shot
what?
in the dark.
The good thing is that's the name of the game. You think you know. Everyone have an answer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, answers please.
Is it
Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson.
You don't have to do that face.
Cheney, this was your question.
Was it
Yeah.
actually Bo?
The answer was Deion Sanders.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Between the two.
Wow, I thought it was Bo Jackson.
Prime time, baby.
I don't think Bo Jackson.
Was Dion a designated hitter or what was he? What position did he play?
Played for 9 seasons. He won 2 Super Bowls and made 1 World Series appearance in 1992, making him the only athlete to play in both the Super Bowl and the World Series. He was professional baseball, left or center fielder.
Okay, in the
No.
outfield. Okay.
Which would make sense. One of the best cornerbacks to ever play the game. One of the best
yeah.
outfielders. You know, he's a good outfielder. So
Bo never played for a Super Bowl, did he?
I don't think so.
None of those guys did. Yeah. Besides Dion.
Question number 5. Multiple choice question. Who is the youngest player?
Correct you, damn it.
No, don't worry, I got it. Who is the youngest player to ever win the Heisman Trophy? Was it Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mark Ingram, or Lamar Jackson? The youngest ever to win the Heisman Trophy. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mark Ingram, or Lamar Jackson? 15 seconds.
I seem to remember hearing this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Answers, please. Lamar Jackson. And is this Lamar Jackson, Kyle?
Yeah. Yep.
3 answers for Lamar Jackson. Guys.
Was it Jameis Winston?
Mark Ingram.
That was a correct answer.
Oh, thank
I think Mark Ingram was number 2, I think, the next youngest. In 2016, Jameis Winston was the youngest to have ever done it. And then Mark Ingram would have won it. What year was that? 2009. It was what?
2010.
Oh, so that would have been him first. Then it would have been Jameis. 2016, and then 2018, 2019 would have been Lamar.
Okay. Question number
6.
This is a multiple choice question, gentlemen, because there's no ladies.
We get it. Yeah.
Thank you. Which famously
rotund
athlete once scarfed down a dozen hot dogs and shotgunned 8 bottles of soda in between games of a doubleheader? David Ortiz, Babe Ruth, Prince Fielder, or Pablo Sandoval?
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Which famously rotund athlete once scarfed down a dozen hot dogs and shotgunned 8 bottles of soda in between games of a doubleheader? David Ortiz, Babe Ruth, Prince Fielder, or Pablo Sandoval?
5 seconds for your answer. 3, 2, 1. Time. Answers, please. Ortiz. I've got Big Papi, David Ortiz, and Kyle. I cannot tell what that says.
Babe
Ruth. Cheney.
The correct answer is Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
George Herman Ruth. Big boy. I tried to find the biggest baseball players in MLB history, and it
yeah, those are all some big boys.
They were all very, very large men. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 7 is a multiple choice question. What Lakers coach trademarked the term three-peat, but didn't see any profits until the Bulls made the term popular? I'll repeat that again because I was messing up a little bit. What Lakers coach trademarked the term three-peat, but didn't see any profits until the Bulls made the term popular? Was it Phil Jackson, Jerry West, John Kundla, or Pat Riley? What Lakers coach trademarked the term three-peat, but did not see any profits until the Bulls made the term popular? Phil Jackson, Jerry West, John Kundla, or Pat Riley? Ten seconds. You good, Kyle?
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, answers, please. Pat Riley, Jerry West, and Phil Jackson. 3 different answers, only one of which is correct. The correct answer was none other than Pat Riley. Congratulations, Brad.
I thought we were going to go commercial break for a second.
The correct answer will be given to you as soon as we come back. 2, 3, 4. Currently in the lead is Brad with 4 out of 7. Luke coming in at 2 out of 7. And Kyle with 3 out of 7. It is anyone's game, gentlemen. Question number 8, Gene.
Question number 8. When the NCAA tournament began in 1939, how many teams were a part of the tournament? It's a multiple choice question, So 4, 8, 16, or 32.
Four, 8, 16, or 32.
Yes.
Okay.
10 seconds.
10 segundos for those who speak Spanish. Which is
Who have not been able to understand anything else that we've said the entire game, the entire episode. And that is your time. Who have suddenly now just learned how to speak English fluently to even understand everything up to this point. All right, answers, please. I can't tell what any of these things say. 32 for Luke. I think Kyle says 8 and Brad says 8. Jeannie?
the correct answer that we've all been waiting for is 8.
8 is the correct answer.
I was lucky.
This next question is not multiple choice, but does have multiple answers.
Okay.
So this is a 2-part question. There are a number of human mascots in college sports, but there is only one human mascot in all 4 major North American sports, which would be hockey, baseball, basketball, football. Your job is to tell me the sport and the team. What professional team from basketball, football, hockey, or baseball, which of these sports has a human mascot? There is one team in one of those sports.
And we're talking for each one. So there are like
Just
4
one.
potential answers.
Just one. There is only one.
Okay, I'm still confused as to the question. Could you repeat it one more time?
Absolutely. Let me put it this way. In baseball, football, hockey, and basketball, there is only one sport that has a human mascot. Of that sport, there is only one team that has a human mascot.
Okay, gotcha.
What
So
sport?
basically the question is, what team has a human mascot?
Or sport. But if you get the team, it's probably self-explanatory.
If you get the team right, you've got the sport right.
Okay.
If you get the wrong sport, you got the wrong team. You know, all of that. I'll make it easier for you. I'll make it a little easier. This is a tough question.
How about we do double points for league and then team?
Good. I like the way you think.
Yeah.
I like the way you think. So you will get 1 point for the right sport, 1 point for the right team. 30 seconds, go.
It's because you know what it is, Kyle.
I think I do. It came up when I first heard the question.
Remember, if you don't, that's gonna look bad on you.
Oh, I know. I'm willing to accept it.
10 seconds. This is a hard question. 3, 2, 1. Can you give me the sport?
NFL.
The sport is the NFL. So everyone has. Brad said the Phillies. That's not a human. That's the Philly fanatic, and he's scary. So we have Luke. We have, huh?
What about the colonists that they have? The presidents.
Those are on the field.
Yeah, those are still in those are still in costume.
Fair.
So we have Kyle and we have Luke with 1 point each for the correct sport. I cannot read either of your screens, so you're gonna have to tell me.
This is
the
Patriots.
team.
Mine says Patriots as well.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
The
You would
correct
think so,
answer is the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, really? Oh.
Really? I thought the Patriots always had that one guy in costume who was like the one guy shooting off the gun with the 3-cornered hat.
Or do you mean actual human?
Actual human.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
I mean,
what you're saying.
I still would
see
have.
what-
I still would have gotten it. but-
I see the confusion. So here's Pat Patriot. That's hold on. Let me turn down my. That is the Patriots mascot.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
Vikings. Now I can't see anything on my phone screen. Wow. I don't know how people see like this.
I don't know how you youngins see like this, man.
I know this would be the Patriots or the Vikings mascot. It's a real person. They have had, I think, in a previous life, they have had a mascot,
Okay.
and his name was Victor the Viking.
Notre Dame was the only human I could think of fighting Irish.
There are a lot actually. Apparently, the Mountaineers, West Virginia. I think they have one.
Aubyn,
Anyway, yes, sir.
I have a question. Is it Advent?
Advent.
Cool. Okay.
Whatever that was about.
It's in reference to the next question.
It is.
Oh.
Well, it's not a multiple choice, but
Oh.
yeah. Hockey is one of 2 Winter Olympic competitions that actually
That would be debuted. Yeah.
English.
He's just learning English for the first time.
Gone.
Today. It's okay. He's born in Puerto Rico. He doesn't understand sometimes. So
Gone. Debuted as part of.
debuted. What? Debuted.
Why is it like that?
It's probably French. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
Debuted. Imagine. No,
Yep, your audio's gone.
I muted my mic.
That's impressive. Now, what's the answer to the question? Go.
What?
What sport debuted?
You know what?
I mean, debuted.
let me restart the question. Let's start over. It's probably the best. Yeah.
Mercy me. Golly.
Okay. Hockey is one of 2 Winter Olympic competitions that actually debuted as part of the Summer Olympics prior to the advent of the Winter Games in 1924. What is the other?
So many winter sports to think of. So little time. That's the proper reaction also, Cheney.
Oh, I know what it is.
10 seconds.
I have no clue.
You really got to know your Olympics out here. 3, 2, 1. Time. Answers, please.
Going out on a limb.
Ice skating, figure skating, whatever
Tennis.
that says.
Tennis.
Tennis. That would be interesting.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Should I?
There's a difference. There is a difference.
there
Cheney.
is a
Only
difference.
one of
Is
them
it
got it
figure
right.
skating and
It
is it
figure
ice
skating.
skating?
And
The
you-
correct answer
Figure skating is what I had
skating.
in my head.
Wait, those are sports?
Yes.
Yes. Can I just say right now that I meant figure skating and I did not have racing in my head?
You could say that.
But it didn't.
But it'd be
wasn't-
wrong.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wrote ice skating and I changed it.
Ice skating and figure skating have a theoretical difference. I don't know what it is. Figure skating is the one where they do all
it's
the
there.
beautiful movements and things, and ice skating is just putting skates on and walking on the ice. Something I still can't do. I can do neither of those. So, question number 11 is a multiple choice question. What golfer led the PGA Tour in driving distance for 8 years during the 90s? Was it Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, John Daly, or Jack Nicklaus? What golfer led the PGA Tour in driving distance for 8 years during the 90s? Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, John Daly, or Jack Nicklaus?
Nicklaus. How I would have pronounced it.
I'm glad I had that question. Yeah. 10 seconds.
You guys have upped the difficulty since I last did it with you guys.
Listen, there's 3 of you now. We got to up it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Time, by the way.
Talking about
Please
presidents.
provide
Yeah.
your answers.
Aubyn Johnson picking the freaking questions. So
Phil Mickelson. We got John Daly, and Luke said Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Again, Jocks of All Trades, only one of you has provided me with the correct answer. The correct answer was John Daly.
Yeah.
See, Luke, here's the problem in terms of upping the difficulty. Cheney and I have done on our own sports trivia, and then you came on, and we had to find 15 new trivia questions after that. And there's only so much valid sports trivia that is not obvious, and so I just found a list of difficult trivia, and this is where we are.
Yep,
So really,
no,
it's-
I
it's,
completely
you know-
understand. It's just I'm not going. Whoo! I'm stinking up the joint today.
If all of you would have been together that first time, you wouldn't be going through this.
You wouldn't have
Yeah,
to
really,
go
no.
through this.
You
again.
put this on yourselves. All right.
Question number 12.
Question number 12. It is a multiple choice. What baseball team became the first to ever present rings to its players after winning the championship in 1922? The New York Yankees, the Washington Senators, St. Louis,
St. Louis.
Cardinals, or the Cleveland Indians? Again, what baseball team became the first to ever present rings to its players after winning the championship in 1922? The Yankees, Washington Senators, the Cardinals, or the Indians?
10 seconds.
Oh, you got it.
3, 2, 1. Answers, please.
Washington, Yankees.
Senators, Yankees.
The correct answer is the Yankees.
Dang it. Thought that was too obvious.
1 of 27, baby. You know, we out here. That's just what we
Yeah,
do.
they have a gajillion, so
all
it
we
had
do
to
is
be.
win.
It had to be
all
the.
we do is win.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
it's
you
been
do is
it's been
win,
11.
win, no matter
It's been almost 12 years.
They win so
um,
much, yet they're still garbage, which makes no
We
sense.
haven't won. No, we haven't won since 2009. So
They haven't
we are
won
as
since
good. We are as good as the
17?
Steelers.
something like that. 16, 17, something like that.
16 or 17. Question number 13, gentlemen, is a multiple choice question. Talk about a bizarre question. There is one mascot in professional sports that is universally known as the most sued mascot. Is it Mr. Met, the Philly Fanatic, Wally the Green Monster, or Mr. Red?
Who's Mr. Red?
That would be the mascot for the Reds, the Cincinnati Reds.
I mean, that would make sense.
I thought so too.
Could I have that list one more time?
Mr. Met, the Philly Fanatic, Wally the Green Monster, or Mr. Red?
And who's? Never mind.
I love how all of these are
Oh,
baseball.
I know.
Well,
I
that will
know.
give you a hint that it's a baseball mascot. So, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Answers, please. The Fanatic, and the Fanatic. I should take away points from Brad
I was
because he
just
spelled it
gonna
with an F. It's Philly
PH,
Fanatic. We
baby.
spell it with a PH in Philly because everything is everything is PH in Philly. Although I'm not a Philly fan, so I don't care.
So
I'm a
is
Yankee
Gritty
fan.
spelled PHGRITTY?
You bet your
I mean-
butt is.
I mean, if Gritty was spelled with a PH with an F sound, sure, yeah.
Gritty.
So everyone got the point. Congratulations.
Yeah, he puts his butt all over you if you go to a Phillies baseball game.
He's got sued 4 times. 4 times. So he's the most sued mascot.
Where's Wally the Green Monster from?
Where's the Green Monster, Cheney? You're a Red Sox fan.
Which
that's
sports
Boston.
figure holds?
Roast.
Oh, Cheney.
Anyways,
Question number 14.
Number 14 is a multiple choice. Which sports figure holds the record for appearing the most times on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Is it LeBron James, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, or Tiger Woods? Who holds the record for appearing most times on the cover of Sports Illustrated? LBJ, Muhammad Ali, MJ, or T-Dubs?
And yes, these are the top 4, by the way.
I bet.
5 seconds. Everybody's good? Answers, please.
Just guessing.
God, I wish I could read these. Tiger Woods,
LeBron James,
Michael Jordan.
LeBron James.
Correct answers?
Correct answer is Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Second would be Muhammad Ali. Third is LeBron James. And fourth, Tiger Woods.
I do see that. I do see Muhammad Ali being on Sports Illustrated a lot.
Yeah.
And you got to think about who, I mean, in his time in boxing, he was unstoppable. It's actually not even close.
You can't be me though.
Okay. This is from 2016. From 1954 to 2016, Michael Jordan had graced the cover of Sports Illustrated 50 times, Muhammad Ali 40 times, LeBron James 25 times, and Tiger Woods
50 to 25. Oh my god.
Yes, and Tiger Woods 24.
Brad, jeez.
This is question number 15, gentlemen. This is for all the marbles. Your final question, which is a multiple choice question. Which NBA? No, but thanks for asking. which NBA team has the most all-time losses? Is it the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Detroit Pistons, the Atlanta Hawks, or the Sacramento Kings? Which NBA team has the most all-time losses? The Timberwolves, the Pistons, the Hawks, or the Kings?
Do you have the number for how many losses or the record was?
It is a lot. It is upwards of 3,000, I believe.
I have a good feeling I know who it is.
10 seconds. If everyone's ready. Answers, please. Oh, God. Timberwolves, Brad, Timberwolves, and Kyle, what's your answer?
Hawks.
The Hawks. Gentlemen.
Oh.
That is an awful way to end the game. You all are incorrect.
All incorrect.
The Sacramento Kings.
It just makes sense.
I was thinking of picking Kings, but then I'm like, oh, wait, Timberwolves. I mean, that's like the Kings had Chris Webber and those guys.
And I guess that answers my question. When the hell have the Kings ever been good? I mean, Chris Webber, yes.
I mean, it's been a long time.
Robertson. They've had some good players.
They've also had over 3,000.
Peja Stojakovic.
Can't forget about DeMarcus Cousins over there.
Who?
Sacramento Kings all-time record is 2,598 wins and 3,103 losses.
That's horrid.
Wow.
From 1948 until now. 73 seasons. Okay. Well, guys, let me tally up the scores here. It's just going to be a moment. I got to make sure I can count. It'll probably be about average. Actually, this is going to be less than average. Our average score on a general episode of AfroLatinos is 10 out of 15 is our average score. I don't think anyone came close to that. So,
yeah. This is more in line with the fast food trivia.
Why?
I love it. Luke, you're going to want to go back to your score from the last one.
I know. Remember, people, I once got 11 out of 15. I'm not an idiot.
The final tally. Luke in third place with a 5.
Walking. Oh,
A 5 out of 15. That's a 33%. Should I announce first or second place next?
Oh, well, we know. Move on.
second.
The second place score with a 7 out of 15. Kyle. Making Brad the champion of this episode of You Think You Know, or the segment You Think You Know Sports, with a 9 out of 15. Just below our average score. You did great, man. You did your best. All right.
That's the worst
gentlemen.
you could do. So a 9 out of 15 is like the worst we could do.
Yeah.
Really. We don't count that fast food episode. It deleted.
Oh no, we do. It counts on your record. Yeah. As long as it's yours, never mind. We're okay. Jocks of All Trades, Brad, Kyle, Luke, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I hope that we can have another episode in the future. I hope we didn't scare you guys off too badly. Maybe we'll have you guys quiz us on something next time. I don't know. It's been a lot. And I'm running out of places to find sports trivia. So if you got somewhere to show me some sports trivia, by all means, share away. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. We have had a great time, and hopefully we can plan something in the future. Guys, audience, check out the Jocks of All Trades on Facebook. Check them out on YouTube. You can find them, Jocks of All Trades. Find us at AfroLatinos everywhere that digital podcasts can be found, as well as on Facebook and our YouTube page. Come on and check us out. Let us know your thoughts about our sports conversations from today. Let us know if we're doing a great job. If we're not doing a great job, let us know. Either way, drop a like, drop a comment, and hit us up. This has been another episode of AfroLatinos. This has been your co-host, Aubyn
and Chandler.
Peace out, everybody.